Ciryl Gane reveals X-ray of broken foot after UFC 310 victory. Ciryl Gane has shared X-rays of his broken foot following his controversial decision win over Alexander Volkov at UFC 310. The heavyweight contender took to social media to give fans a closer look at the injury that he says significantly impacted his performance. In his post-fight interview with Joe Rogan, Gane admitted he wasn't pleased with his performance and revealed the reason for his compromised movements. "I injured my foot in the very first round. It affected how I fought for the rest of the fight." Despite the injury, Gane managed to edge out a split decision, but the result sparked debate among fans and analysts. On Monday, Gane shared X-rays on Instagram showing the extent of his injury. He revealed that it wasn't just a single toe injury, but also damage to 2 metatarsals, which he marked in the screenshot. Gane wrote, "My foot was essentially useless after the injury." The X-rays depict a clearly compromised foot, explaining why Gane struggled with mobility during the fight. Gane's post has drawn sympathy from fans and fighters alike. While some praised his grit for pushing through the injury, others suggested the injury further highlights why the fight was so close and controversial. The injury likely means Gane will be sidelined for the foreseeable future. Depending on the severity of the break, recovery could take several months, leaving the heavyweight division in flux as contenders jockey for position. Covington declares Buckley clash a legacy fight. Colby chaos. Covington is set to return to the octagon this weekend in a fight he describes as critical to cementing his legacy as an elite welterweight. Covington, headlining the event in Tampa, Florida, will face rising star Joaquin Buckley. A matchup he says is about proving his worth to fans and the UFC. Covington opened up about how the fight came together, explaining that the UFC needed a main event, and he was the obvious choice. The company needed a main event to fill, so who better to call than the ultimate company man, Colby Chaos Covington? It made sense to defend home turf in Florida. Covington revealed that he initially called out Shavkat Rakhmonov, but was offered Buckley instead after the UFC opted to book Rakhmonov against Ian Gary. Covington spoke about the challenges he's faced in recent years, including a severe injury sustained during a fight. "I broke my foot in 3 different places in the first 30 seconds of a fight. The rehab process was long and strenuous, but I overcame it." He also addressed critics who questioned his time away from the cage. "People were making accusations and spreading lies about me. They've never been locked in a cage, fighting through a championship bout with an injury. It's easy to judge from the outside." Covington sees Saturday's fight as a chance to re-establish himself as one of the best in the welterweight division. "This is a legacy fight for me. It's about showing the fans and the UFC who Colby Chaos Covington really is. I've achieved so much, but I know there's more to accomplish." Covington didn't hold back when discussing his opponent, dismissing Buckley's relevance in the division. "To be honest, I don't know much about him. I've been at the top of the division for nearly a decade, so I haven't paid attention to this kid. He's irrelevant, and Saturday night I'm going to expose him." Covington added, "There's always hype jobs in this sport. Saturday night, people will see the truth and who the real king of this division is." For Covington, this fight is more than just another win. It's an opportunity to remind the MMA world why he remains a pivotal figure in the welterweight division. As Buckley looks to make a name for himself, Covington is determined to shut down the hype and solidify his legacy. Daniel Cormier criticizes Belal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov face-off. Daniel Cormier has shared his thoughts on the post-fight face-off between Belal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov, following Rakhmonov's victory over Ian Gary at UFC 310. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Cormier compared the moment to other notable face-offs and explained why he felt it fell flat. While acknowledging that Rakhmonov solidified himself as the top contender in the welterweight division, Cormier was unimpressed with the promotional impact of the face-off. "I've got to be honest, it was weird. I don't love face-offs when you have a translator, especially when Belal, as much as people want to hate him, isn't a disrespectful guy. It doesn't create the energy or moment you're looking for as a promotion." Cormier contrasted the interaction between Muhammad and Rakhmonov with other memorable face-offs, like Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling's, which featured Merab Dvalishvili donning O'Malley's jacket to create a buzzworthy moment. "This didn't serve the purpose you want when building a fight. It didn't leave fans with a lasting memory." Adding to the awkwardness, the face-off became a viral moment when security initially prevented Muhammad from entering the cage, apparently failing to recognize the welterweight champion. Renato Moicano weighed in on the situation during an appearance on the MMA Hour, defending Muhammad's skill despite the perceived disrespect. "I was laughing at the whole thing, but it's disrespectful to Belal. People may not know him, but he's damn good. In my opinion, he's way better than Shavkat Rakhmonov. Moicano expressed confidence in Muhammad's ability to defeat Rakhmonov. Shavkat is not the boogeyman people make him out to be. I think Belal will make it look easy. While no official date has been set for the anticipated matchup, fans are already debating whether Muhammad's well-rounded skill set will be enough to overcome Rakhmonov's relentless style. Matt Brown backs Merab Dvalishvili's reaction to UFC 310 altercation. Matt Brown has come to Merab Dvalishvili's defense following the altercation in the crowd at UFC 310, where Merab clashed with a provocative fan. Brown, a veteran fighter known for his no-nonsense attitude, shared his thoughts on the incident during an appearance on the Fighter vs. the Writer podcast, emphasizing that fans should know better than to provoke professional fighters. Brown didn't mince words when addressing the behavior of fans who crossed the line. I still say this. Fans, keep to yourself, bro. You don't fight with professional fighters. Most of us are martial artists who are respectful, but we're also human beings. Mess with us and we'll rip your fubbing throat out. He explained that being a fighter, especially in the heat of competition, can lead to natural reactions when provoked. You touch me, I'm fudding you up. It's that simple. Fighters are ready for war when they step into the cage, and if you hit us or provoke us, it's natural to hit back. Brown recounted a similar incident he experienced during his fight against Demian Maia in Brazil. A fan grabbed my hat, and then I got punched by one or two fans. I punched one of them back and probably knocked him out. They pulled me away so fast, but I landed a clean shot on him. The incident led to the UFC implementing stricter measures to separate fans from fighters, particularly during walkouts in hostile environments. Brown emphasized that while fighters can tolerate trash talk, physical provocation crosses a line. We should be able to handle people saying stuff, but when it escalates to physicality, that's a different story. You flip a guy off or grab him, you deserve to get your ass kicked. The only reason we don't is because of security or repercussions, not because you don't deserve it. Brown expressed full support for Merab's response, saying it's only natural for fighters to defend themselves in such situations. Fans need to remember that fighters are people too. You provoke someone like Merab and you'll get what's coming. He handled it as professionally as he could, given the circumstances. Brown's comments highlight the tension between fan enthusiasm and respect for fighters. While trash talk has become part of the sport, Brown believes fans need to understand that crossing physical boundaries is unacceptable. Michael Bisping analyzes Anthony Smith's UFC 310 loss. Anthony Lionheart, Smith's TKO loss to Dominic Reyes at UFC 310 has raised questions about his future, and Michael Bisping didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts. On the Believe You Me podcast, Bisping expressed concern over Smith's decision to fight so soon after the death of his longtime coach, Scott Morton. Bisping highlighted the emotional toll Smith was under, saying, "When I saw Anthony during the walkout, he was visibly upset. Losing a mentor like Scott Morton is devastating, and you can't go into a fight overly emotional. You need to be in control, and he clearly wasn't." Bisping questioned whether Smith should have taken the fight, noting the challenges of preparing under such circumstances. He didn't look in peak shape, which is understandable. With everything going on, training, recovery, and nutrition were likely not his top priorities. Despite these concerns, Bisping acknowledged that stepping into the octagon might have been therapeutic for Smith, but ultimately, it wasn't the right move for his career. Looking ahead, Bisping doesn't believe Smith will retire just yet. When he watches the fight back, I think he'll feel disappointed. Fighters are their own harshest critics, and that could push him to come back stronger. Bisping hopes Smith gets another chance to perform under better circumstances, stating, "Anthony deserves to be remembered for his warrior spirit, not this performance." Smith's future remains uncertain, but fans and analysts alike agree that the fighter has more to offer if he chooses to continue his journey. Should Smith have postponed the fight, or was it the right call to compete? Share your thoughts below.